Hi, I'm Nikki Seibert Kelley, and I'm excited to join you all today to talk about growing a career in the food system. I'm going to go over my background, educational pathway, internship and mentorship opportunities, career pathway, community involvement, and then also talk about helping you all find your own way. A little bit about me. I am from North Carolina, and I've been in Charleston since 2010. I was raised by two very loving, outdoor-minded folks. I grew up in the garden, riding horses, hiking the Appalachian Trail, and we even spent time on our farm in Virginia, as well as spending an entire year living on a sailboat in the ocean. So I was lucky enough to grow up surrounded by nature, and also it was instilled in me that this could be something I could pursue as a career. I'm happily married and have a beautiful 2-year-old daughter, and I also try and share my love of nature with my child. So when it comes to my formal career and getting engaged in the system, I did start by going to University of North Carolina in Wilmington and getting a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Studies. I also pursued a certificate from the North Carolina Environmental Education Program and eventually moved on to getting a graduate degree at the College of Charleston Masters of Environmental Studies program. A big part of my experience, including throughout my college years, included doing a wide variety of internships. So actually, one of my first internships was with 4-H. So I do have a deep passion for 4-H and the opportunities it provides to connect individuals and communities with nature and the power of nature to transform your community, as well as to give you leadership skills and knowledge that can support you throughout your life. So whether it's helping learn how to raise a goat, taking beekeeping classes, or spending time digging out in the marsh to find out more about water quality, it provided a really strong foundation for me. I also interned with the Audubon Society and Cape Fear River Watch. A lot of this time was focused on doing environmental education. So that was essentially the alternative education that school children and college students were getting to come in offsite, going to a field trip and engaging and connecting with nature. We were teaching them all kinds of STEM concepts using nature as the platform and the foundation. Thinking about moving into careers, what did that look like for me? So how did I get from going to college, getting a degree, interning at all these different organizations, and eventually getting a job? Well, a big part of that was starting with the community I had been working in. So my supervisor, in my internship with 4-H, actually hired me as a temporary worker for a summer education program at Airlie Gardens. I ended up taking a full-time position through the Mecklenburg County Parks and Rec Department, managing a nature center. Eventually, I moved on to taking an AmeriCorps position, which really provided me an alternative pathway to shift gears into a different career, learn more about construction and affordable housing, and provided me a place to live and work in Charleston, South Carolina. So after spending a year in AmeriCorps, I was able to make the case for support to be hired on as their green building manager. And I continued through that pathway for several years. I eventually was recruited into the Low Country Local First Farming Apprenticeship Program. I spent time as a farming apprentice before moving on and being recruited to direct their program. Throughout the several years of working in the food systems, I ultimately began to think about ways that I could help more people in a wider variety, in a bigger geographical area, basically, to help them explore their ideas and realize success within their own programs, whether it be affordable housing, community gardening, or doing farmer training like I had been doing. So these are some of the kind of process pictures of my journey through those organizations. This was my farm apprentice, was Joseph Fields Farms, a 6th generation organic farm out on Johns Island. I also, as you can see, spent a lot of time doing housing construction, gained a lot of physical hands-on skills. I learned a lot about physical production when it comes to organic production, as well as livestock and animal agriculture, including all of the food and farm systems involved in that. I got to learn and meet a lot of different people and learn from a lot of different industries. I was able to organize education and training programs, connect consumers with local food. I was able to launch the state's first incubator farm, so even create my own project and get people excited about bringing something innovative to the state. Through that process, a lot of my work was spent trying to help other people realize their own dreams. So connecting them through apprenticeship programs that created an opportunity for them to work hand in hand with the types of farmers that they hope to someday be, to get a taste of what it was really like and see if it was something that made sense for them individually, or maybe something that they just wanted to support as a consumer. Again, I spent a lot of time doing community education, getting people excited about eating local. So doing field trips. And again, this should feel familiar because this is very similar to the environmental education work I had been doing. So having the same skills of knowing how to coordinate a group, how to engage children, and how to make connections between the things that they were learning in nature and the things they were learning in the classroom. This was a big part of something that really was a passion in me, that will always be a passion in me, that honestly probably started with 4-H, something that has carried through, continues to carry through in all of my work. So as I mentioned, I did eventually start my own company, Wit Meets Grit, the opportunity to really engage with folks and help provide leadership to them and technical support as they explored their own ideas. And through that work, I've been able to support the creation of a statewide food hub network. So that helps people that buy and sell only local food, helps them connect with each other so they can do a better job in the industry and so that they have greater market opportunities for the farmers that they work with. So again, a lot of coordinating different people, helping them have determine what their ideas are, what the similarities are, and helping them make connections with the work that happens within their own office. I've also done things like helping to support the creation of the Bamberg County Health Coalition. And a lot of that work was focused on food and farming, but also on health and wellness. Ultimately, the project has spent a lot of time doing youth-based education, connecting with youth in the garden. And I have come full circle in that I work a lot with 4-H as well as FFA through the Future Farmers of America to help connect them with this program and provide additional resources in their education that again creates that real world bridge picture. What does this job look like in the ground, in the field? What does it look like as a career? Provides that hands-on experience. I also do occasionally adjunct teach at the College of Charleston. So that means I come in as a temporary teacher and I'll teach 1 or 2 courses to share some of this same information, as well as dig deeper into the issues and areas of opportunity for the college students to engage in this industry. So I want to really highlight that there is a behind the scenes part of this journey. So I think I can paint a really clean picture of going from 4-H to youth education, to working with Habitat, to going into Low Country Local First and launching my own business. But at the end, it took a lot of other jobs in order for that to be possible. A lot of my internships were unpaid or paid very low wages. A lot of my jobs at nonprofits were also unfortunately not able to pay as much as was necessary. And so I did spend a lot of time working in food and beverage, waiting tables, bartending, working catering events. I worked at animal hospitals and have been paid to do animal husbandry. I've done landscaping, painted and renovated houses, spent a lot of time doing childcare and nannying, and also worked on a variety of special events. I want to highlight that these jobs are equally as important to shaping my pathway and helped introduce me to a wide range of people and helped learn some of those, what they call soft skills, like customer service and multitasking and time management, as well as getting a really clear picture of the types of skills that were needed and the types of jobs that were out there if I ever needed a place to fall back on. So if my dream job wasn't happening, I at least knew I had a skill set and a network that would always provide the financial benefit of a job. So I want to highlight that. I really think it's important during your interview process, if you have a job like this, keep it on your resume and make sure to highlight why that makes you a better employee, whether that's your ability to work with a diverse clientele, or whether that means you are able to physically do the job because you've been working a job that involved a lot of labor-based practices. So something to consider. So on the flip side, outside of the professional elements of the paid work, I spent a lot of time in community involvement and volunteering. This, I think personally, is something I believe in. I'm very service oriented. I like to support the communities in which I live. I also like to support folks that don't have the same resources that I've had access to. And also I like to share my expertise with the community the way that other people shared it with me. So a big part of this is building connections within the community. This is me bringing together a group of young female farmers to help them connect to each other and build community so that they had a network and a social network that could support them as they began starting their businesses. I also do speaking engagements, trying to connect with the industry and make sure that not only my voice, but the voice of folks similar to me are highlighted in the industry. So making sure that people understand the potential opportunities for females in this industry, making sure that someone in the room is bringing up a lack of diversity or need of diversity, or really getting into those tough issues about inequities in the system. So I do spend a lot of time speaking on those types of topics. I think it's really important to attend as many conferences and trainings as you can. A lot of times you can get scholarships, or you can do volunteer hours in exchange instead of paying for your ticket. This provides an opportunity for you to gain expertise, but also you get a taste of other people's jobs. So you get this full panel of organizations that are coordinated just so you can pick and choose like a menu. Who do I want to hear from? Who do I want to talk to one-on-one? And often at conferences, you get the opportunity to go face-to-face with people who are almost impossible to schedule meetings with otherwise. And they're always really excited to hear from folks that are young, up and coming and emerging. So really take advantage of those opportunities if you can. Again, I think there's a lot of opportunities through things like local food councils, health coalitions, and other interest groups. So you might have a water conservation board, you might have other similar boards in your community. They are always looking for community engagement, and volunteering on these boards, again, creates stronger connections for you and helps you have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in your community. I'd really believe in mentoring the next generation. So it does not matter how old you are, there is someone younger than you that can really would really appreciate having someone to look up to talk to bounce ideas off of, have guidance in, and honestly just have friendship and an ally in the industry. So I really do think it's important to always kind of bring that forward and show folks that this is what leadership can look like, this is what success can look like, and also this is what failure can look like, but we can do it in a way that is a learning experience and done with grace. So something to think about as you're looking into other opportunities beyond those paid career fields. So as you're thinking about finding your way, everybody's journey is different. I again was lucky that I had parents that were really passionate about the outdoors, and I was able to find an internship that got me started and got my foot in the door to an industry that I immediately identified with. Finding the job that was the right fit for me was a little bit more challenging. And like I said, I did have to do a lot of other jobs in order to fund my passion and really just to find a career that could both meet my desires and passions and also be a career that would really provide for me in a financial way that was meaningful. So as you're going through this process, one of the best things I tell folks to do is to go and find who's hiring and what are they hiring for. Find as many job descriptions as you can, find the ones that really appeal to you, and then look at the skill requirements. Because as you're taking jobs, use every single job as an opportunity to check a box on a skills requirement for your dream job. This helps give you a trajectory so that you feel like you're making progress, even when that food and bev job doesn't feel like it's the pathway to success. I really think it's important to cultivate a broad range of skills so that you can qualify for a job. And more often than not, the skills that I don't see people really honing are those interpersonal skills, knowing how to manage their time, email properly, manage a calendar, develop a work plan, and use a lot of the software out there, being comfortable with everything from Excel to time tracking softwares to project management softwares. Take the time to see if you can reach out to folks that you really want to be when you get older and see if they'll do a 30-minute check-in meeting with you and just talk a little bit about what they have learned and maybe some potential opportunities that they can identify for you in your career. So again, professionalism, multitasking, organizational skills, service skills, and software are going to be some areas to develop outside of your industry-specific jobs. Those are going to be some key elements. So always seek new learning opportunities. These both help educate you on your skill sets, but also it helps connect you with a broader network. Try and find some mentors in your industry. So find someone that you feel like is a good fit for you and that is close enough into your next step of your career that they can help coach you on what's kind of the industry standard in that field. And always try and build your network. So every time you meet someone, make sure you follow up with them, send an email, send a text, thank them, look them up on LinkedIn, add them as a friend, and occasionally reach out to them to update them on what you're doing and just find out how they're doing. It's really important that you try and create relationships in this industry, because at the end of the day, really this is going to be a bulk of your time is spent working. And if you're working alongside people that you feel like are friends, it's going to make your job more enjoyable, and it's going to be easier to get things done when people already know who you are and you've spent the time to build the trust. So I can't emphasize enough how important it is to build that network and do it in a way that's authentic, and follow up with those folks on a personal level. So that was a really wild ride, a lot of information. I'm sure you're a little overwhelmed. I've always got a lot to share, and I do talk probably a little too fast. So if you have any questions, you want any clarification, I am more than happy to talk with any of you all, and I look forward to that. Thank you.